There are some great looking bikes in the Tour de France right now, but I reckon this Trek Madone is probably one of the hottest and fastest looking bikes. But what do you think? Let me know by leaving a comment down below. Do you love it or do you hate it? Okay, let's dive in for a closer look. So this is a Trek Madone SLR 9 disc as ridden by 2019 world champion Mads Pedersen, who races for the Trek Segafredo team. It's one of the fastest looking bikes in the peloton, an aero bike designed for speed. Nothing else really matters apart from going as fast as possible, and it clearly looks a fast bike in these pictures. So we'll go through the details on this bike, but first we'll start with a very subjective matter, looks. And personally, I think the paint job on this bike looks absolutely stunning. Really appeals to me. I'd happily own a bike with this paint job. One caveat though is the size of the Trek logo on a down tube is a bit oversized. I know we're going for branding for exposure in the pro peloton, but shrinking that logo down will still give a good looking bike and still make it visible in the pro peloton. It's just a bit oversized compared to what other bike brands in the World Tour are doing at the moment. I don't really know why the logo has to be so big. I know we've got a big down tube for a big logo, but it could be a bit smaller. But ignore the logo, and the paint job on this bike is just superb. So the paint job is a brand new option in Trek's Project One scheme. So this is Trek's own custom paint offering. You go to their website, you choose a model, choose a paint job, and you customize the bike from how it looks and the build of the bike to your requirements and taste. And apparently it involves a unique paint process that gives an ultra shiny polished metal look. It's available in two colors, sapphire and this ruby red. Oh my days, what a stunning looking paint job it is. The only downside, however, if you do like the chroma finish and you want to replicate Mads Pedersen bike here, you'll need some deep pockets. This finish will cost you an additional $2,000. So this new finish makes these team bikes even more expensive than they normally are. There is a bit of the old Villiers Ramata finish about it as well, it has to be said. So this was a mirror polished, chrome plated and colour lacquered finish that was used by some brands like Villiers, the Italian bike brand, back in the 1940s. You might see my ride review of the classic Villiers Ramata bike a few months ago. I'll link down below if you missed that. So a massive thumbs up for the paint finish and a thumbs down for the size of the logo, but I'm prepared to live that logo for that paint job. So let me know what you think down below. So underneath the paint is the latest current generation Trek Madone. Now you know Madone, iconic bike going back to the 2000s by that rider we won't name, and then updated, made more aero as it's evolved. And the latest version is a pure aero race bike, and it is a fast bike. I reviewed it previously, you might see my review on the interweb, and it's a fast bike and delivers the speed you want for an aero bike. The Trek is fast thanks to the use of cam tail profiles for the massive down tube, the seat tube, the seat post, the fork blades and the rear stays. And then we have full internal cable routing. And this latest version is only available with disc brakes as well. The previous version has some very funky hidden brake calipers, but they got rid of those and it's now disc brake only. This current generation Madone has been around for a couple of years now, but last year got two key updates. A lighter OCLV 800 carbon fibre layout, which saves a claimed 80 grams of frame weight, and the press fit bottom bracket was thankfully replaced by a T47 threaded bottom bracket, a new standard developed by Chris King and Argonaut Cycles a few years ago and being adopted mainly by Trek and a few other bike brands as well. So the Madone is all about speed and going as fast as possible. And in the old days of early aero bikes, that meant a compromise when it came to ride comfort. Simply put, on anything but a smooth road surface, they were harsh and horrible to ride. Okay for racing around a smooth crit, but rubbish on normal roads. Thankfully though, the latest generation aero bikes are much smoother in this regard, and the Trek Madone is probably one of the best due to the ISO-speed decoupler. This is a rather unique feature, first seen on the Domani cobble smashing bike developed by Fabian Cancellara quite a few years ago and integrated into the Madone. And what it does is essentially decouples or separates the seat tube from the main frame, but controls the range of movement so the seat post and therefore the saddle can move back and forth when you're riding over bumpy ground. You can adjust how much comfort you have with a slider in the top tube, which you undo a bolt and slide it for more comfort or a firmer ride depending on your preference or the roads you're riding on any given day. For 2021, as we saw last year, the Trek Segafredo team are supported by SRAM, so Mads Pedersen has a range-topping SRAM Red eTap Access group set. A reminder, it's a wireless group set, 12-speed configuration with hydraulic disc brakes. You all know that probably, but just reminding you just in case. Removable batteries on the front and rear derailleurs. And we've seen Mads Pedersen dabble with 1x in the past, but for the Tour de France this year, he's using a 2x. And he's using the brand new 54-41-2 chain set, which was recently introduced. And that, combined with a 10-2 sprocket, gives a massive gear of 142 inches. Ouch. If you get that gear turning, you'll be going some serious speed. Let me know what speed that works out at down below. Since the Madone is all about speed and Mads Pedersen is good at going fast, he has a one-piece carbon fiber aero handlebar and stem on his Trek Madone. So his handlebar was designed especially for the Madone, and the brake hoses are routed underneath the stem into a special headset cap rather than inside the stem and into the stereo tube, as we've seen with some other bikes. And as you can see, Mads Pedersen clearly likes his stem slammed with no space between the stem and the headset cap. And the stem length, well, I'm guessing it's 120 millimeters, because that's the longest you can actually buy this stem handlebar combination on the Trek Bontrager website, unless they're making a special longer version for a team, which could be 130, but let me know what you think down below. Because Trek bikes bought Bontrager many years ago and now use that for all its components and accessories, we find a lot of Bontrager parts on the Trek Madone. And we'll start with his saddle of choice, the Verse Pro with matching Bontrager bar tape, naturally. And the wheels are brand new, not yet available ALS RSL 51 tubular wheel. So earlier this year, Bontrager launched 3 new wheels in its ALS lineup, and the ALS lineup has evolved a lot over the years. You might have seen the wheels change quite a bit. And it has 3 new wheel sets, the RSL 51, 62 and 75. The number denotes the rim depth, and these are all hookless, tubeless wheels with a 23mm wide internal width that follows the latest trends in the wheel market from the likes of MV, Zip and Hunt and so on. And while some teams have dabbled with tubeless in the pro peloton like Tour de France, most notably Quick-Step, although they're now using clincher tyres with latex inner tubes. And we have seen the Trek Segafredo team using tubular tyres because their tyre sponsor Pirelli make one of the best tubular tyres you can currently buy. You might see my use of them on my giant TCR build, link above if you missed that. So rigger tyre, fast, supple, durable, and also designed to the latest ET RTO standards, so it works really well with the modern hookless tubeless rims that we've seen developed by Bontrager, Zip, MV and Hunt and other brands. But on his bike, Mads Pedersen is using their more traditional tubular tyre, so glue-on tyre, and you can't actually buy these new Bontrager RSL wheels in a tubular version. Apparently you can, if you go through Project 1, you can spec this new wheel set in a tubular version, but as yet, these wheels aren't really available to the public, and you kind of see their prototype in development form because the decals aren't finished on these wheels. We have a very simple sticker on the carbon rims that gives them away as not being a product available to buy yet. They're not that polished, finished product you expect in a pro peloton. Talking of tyres, these are a Pirelli P0 tubular in a 25mm width. A few details to point out. You might notice that small bolt on the back of the seat tube, and that's for the race number. So nicely designed into the seat tube, a bit tidier than cable tying a number onto the back of a seat post. And that thing on the fork, well, that's a race transponder used for timing in the Tour de France. And rather than using gaff tape and cable tie to attach to the fork, you seem to be a more high-tech solution for attaching a race transponder to a fork, given how high-tech road bikes are now. But many teams, including Trek, are now resorting to using bits of inner tube cut to length and then wrapping that around the race transponder gives a cleaner and potentially more aero appearance as well. And top marks to Trek for rather than using a black butyl inner tube, using a sort of pink latex inner tube to almost colour match with a red fork on a Trek Madone. So that has been a bike check of the Trek Madone SLR 9 disc belonging to 2019 world champion Mads Pedersen. A fast bike, a fast rider and a fast paint job. Just a shame the logo is so big. But let me know what you think of this bike down below. Anyway, that's all for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you all again next time. Thank you for watching.